Split Tube Media and the Cinesthesia podcast present a special daily October podcast. Help to the king.
Jason, have you read Stephen King's books? Have you read Stephen King's books? King movie, a Stephen King movie. King movie, a Stephen King movie. King movie, a Stephen King movie.
I have done my best to scare the shit out of you guys.
How did your cat get out?
Yeah. So we have one window that's just, it's been open for the last 2 weeks, but with a screen, and I guess she just pushed on it.
Okay.
She's never been smart enough to do that before. She's the only cat I've ever met that can't open a door that's already partway open. If a door's like an inch open, she isn't smart enough to use her paw or face to push it more. She'll just sit there and yell at it. She's a real dumb cat. So, I don't know. She must have fallen out, honestly.
Yeah, probably.
Let's not let this audio leak and get out there where Jim is canceling his cat for some reason.
I wouldn't cancel.
It's a real cat disparagement.
Yeah.
If anything, she'll cancel me. She's gonna.
That's true.
Just head off into.
She'll just lay down on your face.
Yeah, it's true. She does do that. She tries to smother me on the regular. Her dumb fur belly. I made a joke, Frankie, about you laying eggs in my chest before I had watched this film. I just wanted to note that. I didn't know it would be relevant. I was just saying nonsense.
No. I didn't know what the reference was, if it was a reference to something.
Nope. I don't know. I don't have any culture.
We calling the mist culture now?
Oh, no. No.
Okay. Unfortunately, it is culture. It's not cultured in any sense.
I mean, there was some yogurt in that supermarket, I'm sure.
Fact, dairy and eggs.
Oh, okay.
Said that on the wall.
God damn it, both of you. Jesus.
Wait, both of us what?
The biffs, the riffs. Jesus Christ! I combined bit and riff into one word there.
We are biffs, though. I would say we're biffs.
You are. That's true.
We are totally biffs. I actually have some opening questions for Frankie.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, do it. We have a guest today. I'm doing your job now,
We do.
Jason. Hi, welcome to Hell to the King. This is Jason Michaelich and my co-host Jim Hickox. We have a guest today named Frankie.
Wait, are you taking over my life?
Don't know his last name. I will be teaching some classes next semester at BU. Feel free to sign up for them. I have a lot of good things to say.
Are you dark halfing my secret window?
Yeah, I am. I came all the way up from Mississippi.
Oh, I just heard both of you doing this voice on the episode now. So.
Mississippi.
We're actually going to do the entire rest of the podcast.
Please,
Welcome
I can't
on to
take it.
Hell King, Frankie.
Oh no, I'm
We just have to
not
get,
doing it.
Very aggressive.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about a movie that was written by Stephen King?
No, I regret this now.
Yeah, I have some opening questions for our guest.
Oh, boy.
It's not the opening anymore. You're too late. You missed your shot.
Frankie.
You missed your shot, Jason.
I'm taking my shot.
Shooting
Frankie,
your shot.
You are a listener to
Yeah.
this podcast.
Yeah, I am.
You're a
so I
listener
would
to this
assume
one here.
That you are familiar with some of the ongoing themes.
Yeah.
Including my ongoing difficulty with certain kinds of subject matter.
Yes.
So my next question is, you have seen this film before.
Yeah, I
Yes.
have.
And so you were familiar with what happens at
I knew
the end
what was
of the
going
film.
to happen, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't,
Okay, I believe that's all my questions. We're no longer friends.
I'll be trying on sweaters at Forever 21. I assume that's where Andre Bauer shops.
Presumably,
I mean,
he is forever 21
Yeah.
in my
He's
heart.
at least eternal.
I did not know that you did not know that that's what happened, so it seemed to fit so well within the theme that I thought you
It
consciously
is,
chose
in many
that.
ways, the perfect closing film
Yeah,
for the series.
it's true.
It is.
Personally, Jason, I think it's deeply offensive that you chose this theme, given your particular situation. But
It does seem a little passive aggressive of you. Like maybe you're mad at Gus for changing your life.
I think that is the only way to interpret it.
This is cool, guys. Let's do some funny bits. Let's do some wacky hijinks. These are classic bits that we're gonna do here, everybody. We're gonna do some bits. This movie gave me a for real anxiety attack.
Did it really?
Wait,
That-
the whole time or just at the end? Or
No,
lay it down
I
for
mean
me.
not a panic attack. A panic attack is like a sudden thing.
Yeah.
It gave me an anxiety attack from after I watched it through to about an hour ago.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow, really? Wait, how long is that? I don't know when you watched it.
I watched it last night.
Okay.
Okay. That's
Really?
some
And
time.
wow, Jason, you are a dupe right now.
Yeah.
You're such an easy mark for. Because here's the thing, Jason. I'm just gonna jump right. So we watched The Mist. It's about some people. They're stuck in a grocery store, and then Stranger Things happens, and there are monsters.
And check out Stranger Things on Netflix.
Yeah, watch that.
It's a
Season
great
8.
show.
It's still going.
Yeah.
Season 8, The Ocean.
So the main character in this movie, who starts the movie having just painted. Well, I don't know what he's painting at the beginning, but he has recently painted the poster to The Thing. So I was like, oh, this movie's about Drew Struzan, brilliant genius painter. But it's not. He has a different. He's named David or something. Who cares? But he in this movie painted the poster for The Thing. That made me a little mad. Anyway, he has a kid, and then he's trapped in a grocery store, and there are monsters. And legitimately, Jason, the kid is in this movie in 2 scenes. He's in the very beginning, and then 3 times he's in the background being held by a blonde woman, and then he wakes up at the end of the movie just in time to be shot in the face. He's not a character. He's just a thing they put in the movie symbolically so that Tom Jane, the most boring Punisher, could be sad at the end of the movie. So
That is
for
true.
me, I was like, this one is definitely not gonna kill Jason's psyche because this kid isn't even. He's
You were
barely a
wrong.
prop. You see a pistol more than you see this kid. You see the Range Rover more than you see this kid. Everything you see, the can of peas that gets thrown at Marcia Gay Harden more than you see this kid. He's barely set dressing.
You can hear him on the soundtrack in almost every scene of horror,
I am.
screaming in the background.
I do. Jim is right. He's in very few scenes, but that one scene where he's asking Thomas Jane if he and
right,
Andre Braugher are going to be like friends now because they seem like. And the entire time I watched the movie, I'm thinking a lot of things when that kid like says, "Are you guys going to be friends?" What did Thomas Jane do to Andre Braugher before that made them like uncomfortable? I have to imagine that he's playing some kind of a racist character, and that the kid is like, "Oh, can you say like the N-word now, Dad? If you become friends with him."
Wait, did the kid say that? You're putting that on.
I'm imagining that that's what that kid is meant. Like he wanted to ask that question, and that got cut from the movie. He's so precocious.
The actor or the character?
Jim, meet Frankie.
Yeah.
Because in the movie, Andre Braugher's character recently sued Punisher's character, and that's why they're not friends.
Yes.
But I like
But
your
the
version
kid-
where
the
also
kid
in
is
the
a
real
child.
world,
The child
Tom Jane
actor,
is super
yeah.
racist.
Well, I mean, I do like to imagine that this movie takes place in the Punisher universe.
Yeah.
After he loses. Yeah.
Which Punisher universe?
His Punisher. Wait.
Okay.
Is he? He's not in both.
Is
of
he in
them.
multiple Punishers?
No,
He's
he's
just-
only
he's
in
just-
one, but I didn't
yeah.
know if you were saying that this took place in
this
a
is-
Punisher
this-
universe.
no,
Somewhere else, Dolph Lundgren is running around being the Punisher,
Yeah,
and Tom
yeah.
Jane is just a sad guy who shoots his kid in the face.
Oh,
Or what's his name from The Walking Dead, who's a Punisher now? Oh, wait, that's 2 Punishers that Darabont's got.
Wait,
that's
really?
true.
Has he made multiple?
Yeah, I wonder if he's got any other Punishers.
They should call him Big Pun.
Yeah. He made the first season of Walking Dead, and one of the dudes from that is the Netflix Punisher.
Yeah.
So, very interesting.
seems like it went as far as it could go, actually.
Yeah.
I was just talking to someone the other day about how nobody walks out of movies anymore because they are very expensive and you have bought a hamburger. Which I think for the most part is true, but Andre Braugher walks out of this movie in the middle and he is in it. He's just like, peace out, everyone else in the mist. I'm taking 3 dudes and leaving. You will never see me again.
We're going to go to Orange Julius.
Yeah. Yeah, you can find me in the food court of the mall when the screening's over. My favorite scene in this whole movie is when they introduce Andre Braugher and he's all yelling to himself the directions on the side of the chainsaw for how to start it, where it's like choke, pull twice, full speed, pull twice more, because that's my weed whacker has that on the side too. I'm very familiar with it, and it is nonsense, and I understood how he felt in that moment.
Can I say, Andre Braugher is a strong entry into a number of lists we've been compiling. One of them is...
Only black man in a Stephen King film?
Only black... No, there were
he's our third.
other
We also have Melvin Van
unnamed
Peebles.
roles.
And Scat
There-
and Carruthers.
Yeah. Well, that's true, but even in the mist, there's like a few token other black.
But you
men
don't see them really
specifically.
until Andre Braugher leads
You really
them out to
don't.
die.
That's right.
the only
He's
like,
time
I'm
they
leaving
appear.
with my
Yeah,
people.
and you're like,
That's-
oof. Is that what we're doing right now?
But no, he goes on the list of people who have had really good careers but deserved even better.
Correct.
Yeah.
That deserved to be like the lead in a dozen super awesome movies.
Agreed.
Also goes into the list 412 Angry Men.
Oh, absolutely.
Because he is one of the angriest
Yeah.
men alive when saying anything.
Yeah.
Even when speaking quietly.
In this movie, he's half the time being kind of nice, and he still seems furious.
Yeah.
Like, there's that moment where Thomas Jane, like, when they first get to the store, and he says to, like, the kid, oh, yeah, go with Andre Braugher into the store and, like, hold his hand. Like, okay. I mean, that's a way to go with it. I don't know that I would feel comfortable as an adult man holding his hand and walking into the store, but he seems too angry for that. But also,
I would
who else's hand?
100% hold Andre Braugher's hand and walk into a grocery store.
Okay. All right.
Oh, yeah.
That's where we
If he's going to throw me into a display of canned goods, he's going to throw me into a display of canned goods, and I'm going to live with that.
So I'm gonna pull another standard guest question out.
Oh, boy.
Where do you get your ideas, Frankie?
Yeah. Why do you hate me? No. What I gave you the pick of some movies, and you threw back out some ideas, but you were definitely like into doing The Mist.
I was.
And I was just wondering if you wanted to say a little something. We haven't actually introduced him. This is Frankie Vanaria, who is a very good friend of mine, a film scholar in his own right, an expert on Guillermo del Toro and contemporary Mexican-American cinema.
That's right.
But The Mist is the film that he chose out of all of these to be a guest on. So
Yeah.
I was wondering what attracted you to The Mist.
I will say, for one, it was not the theme of the movie, which is that killing your child is okay. I thought it was weird when I said that let's do this, and you said, great, I can't wait. So, I had watched The Mist very recently.
Skating on thin ice, buddy.
I had watched it a couple months ago for the first time, and I remembered hearing a lot about it when it came out, that Marcia Gay Harden's performance was great, which
That's
is
fair.
very entertaining. and that the ending was like one of the incredible movie endings, which, you know, I didn't believe, and I still don't think it is, but it's good.
No comment.
I don't want to, like, be the one. I feel like I'm always the one who jumps this train too early in the podcast, but I'm going to do it again. Oh, here goes Jim. I think that if we hadn't... I think this is fighting with Cujo for the worst movie we've watched this whole month.
Just thinking about Cujo fighting a mist.
Yeah, biting at it. Yeah.
I would have been into it if Cujo was in the mist.
If instead of
what's out in the
CGI
mist?
tentacle
A rabid
monsters,
dog.
just a real man dog.
So I'm gonna sit back here and allow my pulse to sort of return to a normal human's resting rate at its own convenience.
Yeah, we can take it from here.
And I'm gonna let you and him fight.
A positive about this film, we get Frances Sternhagen back from Misery. The delightful. She gets 2 moments in the whole movie, but they're both really good.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only good thing I have. There's a lot of good people in this movie. William Sadler and David Jensen as a duo of repairmen. I feel like there's sort of a runner in the podcast where there's a dude that we're like, that guy should have a whole TV series, and I would watch William Sadler and David Jensen as refrigerator repairmen as a series. There don't even have to be CGI tentacles everywhere they go. They could just deal with refrigerators, and I'd be fine with it. And William Sadler can say things like what did it say? The next time you got something to say, you count your teeth. It's a great line.
One of the weirder things about the movie was, so in this world, both Thomas Jane and Andre Braugher are like the New York out of town. Like, Thomas Jane lives in the town consistently, but Andre Braugher doesn't. But they're still positioned as like outsiders because they call Thomas Jane's position is some kind of like intellectual, but he's also like just paints the posters for movies, and
they all hold him in really high regard.
Exactly. Like, why do you need 2 characters who are functioning the same as like in that way? But Thomas Jane is also like the Gary Cooper of the town, and like everyone knows and loves him. So confusing to me.
I think that's why Andre Braugher walked out. He was halfway through shooting. He was like, "You don't need me." It did strike me, I'm going to say 20 to 30 minutes into this movie, that it was a very ham-fisted metaphor for disasters and people dealing with them. And until then, I was unsure what all the characters were supposed to be. But as soon as I was like, oh, I get it. I see what you're doing here. Then everyone kind of clicked into place. For me.
That, to me, like, that's like, it feels like such a Bush era movie, like a post Katrina movie, in that, like, you just, because the second time I watched it, I'm like, okay, it takes forever for anything to actually, like, the military to come, and to the film's credit, when the military does come, it does not, like, solve all of the issues.
Wait, everything, do you mean at the very, very end?
At the very, very end.
Like, it doesn't solve the issues of Tom Jane having just murdered 4 people, including his son.
Yes, exactly.
Sure.
Exactly. So, like, in, like, contradiction to all of the other apocalyptic movies where you would see some kind of, you know, heroism of the troops or whatever, that is not really happening here. But at the same time, it's weird to do that in a movie that is almost exclusively about white characters in a white town and sort of be appropriating that idea of a delayed or inefficient government response. It is very ham-fisted, but that is part of the appeal, and that Thomas Jane can't, like...
The appeal to whom, Frankie?
Well, the appeal for an audience that wants to feel something very, like, poignant in the sense of gut-wrenching.
Did you feel like your guts were wrenched?
I did not personally, but I liked the incongruity between. There's that moment in the beginning of the film where that woman, and you see her come back as like one of the people who gets rescued. She says, "I want to like find my kids," and in one of the interesting choices in the movie, he like says, "No, I'm not going to like escort you to find your kids. I have my own kid to worry about." But then the rest of the movie is him becoming an action hero and like taking charge of the grocery store. So I wish that they had done it more, that he's just like a shitty guy who doesn't really care about anyone, and then that's the guy that kills his kid. It's just not a particularly good character.
I like that revision. I think that's a nice edit. There's like the whole sort of runner through the film is the Marcia Gay Harden is a religious zealot who's whipping everyone up into a frenzy, and Tom Jane is, I keep forgetting his name because it's just two really boring names. He's kind of just a guy who doesn't believe.
Lanyard Spackle.
Yeah, Lanyard Spackle is in there running with the non-believers who are gonna deal with the monsters face on or whatever. I don't know. But I feel like, and I think you were saying that a thing that was pointed out to you is that her performance is good, and I do think her performance is very good, but I also feel like she is, for most of the movie, the only person in the movie who's performing on the level that is necessary for the movie, because I feel like most of it is just people expressing very serious feelings and saying very serious things, but it's just so fundamentally idiotic, and I don't buy anything. They're all just like snarling into the distance into this CGI mist while like a giant CGI spider with a skull face runs around. It feels like it's on two completely different levels. And Marcia Gay Harden feels like she's in the movie and everyone else is underneath it in a different movie, which I think for me is maybe partially why. Then at the end, I feel like I can understand how the ending would be poignant if it were well done, but it's 2 hours of stuff I don't care about, and that leads into 3 minutes of serious grimace faces while 4 people in a car are grimacing, and the music is and it's impossible to feel anything that isn't ridicule. And then he shoots his kid, and his kid wakes up just in time to be shot in the face, and it's like, it's so tragic that it can't not be funny, especially because you don't care about any of those people at all.
See, I don't think, for me, the ending is not that he kills his kid so much as
no, he does.
He kills his. Well, okay. But not so much that he kills the kid, which, I mean, I know, sensitive, but that he does it and then like 2 seconds later, help arrives after that. I
understand that's the irony.
Because we talked about, or you mentioned Del Toro before, one of the other movie posters that he paints is for Pan's Labyrinth.
Oh,
you
that's
can
funny.
see in the corner there. So it's weird that it is referencing that movie where another child gets shot and something different happens in that movie. Yeah. But it's trying to, I don't know, it's trying to tap into some kind of loss of innocence or whatever that's going on with children, but that's also like part of King's stuff too.
Of course.
I don't think it's super compelling, but
I agree.
It's
I do kind of like that at the end of the movie he murders all the people, and then seconds later the military rolls up, but they specifically roll up from behind him, which means that if they had just gotten in his Land Rover and sat in the parking lot for 2 hours, they would have been fine. It was driving...
Or however long they've been driving
who knows?
To run out of gas.
I imagine they can't have been driving that long, because what was that, like a late 80s Toyota Land Rover? What's that thing get? 14 miles to the gallon. Plus he's driving 3 miles an hour. Well, that might be city. What does it get missed? Oh, that's true. Yeah, probably way more. I did like that he had 45 lights on the car everywhere. I think that was the correct choice. You know what I think would have made this movie better is Adrian Barbeau doing radio broadcasts from a lighthouse and Ghost Pirates. Both of those things would have made this film a lot better. So here's my debate, is that at first I thought that this was the worst movie we had watched, but then they set a guy on fire, and I was like, maybe it's better than Cujo.
Set a guy on fire after a pratfall.
Yeah, he falls down, they set him on fire. He runs around inside the store. And then Tom Jane beats a pterodon to death with a mop handle. That's pretty good, you know?
But really, beats
way
it
beyond.
And it's dead.
Yeah.
But then keeps beating it for maybe 10 minutes while everything around him is going completely insane and his son is almost shot for the first time.
Yeah. It's while Toby Jones is trying to shoot his son. He's trying to not shoot his son.
That's something we haven't talked about yet. Toby Jones
is a delight.
He's great, but he's also playing like a proto alt-right guy of just like that's the only way I can read that character, is just being psychotically violent and misogynist and racist. Just out of nowhere, this nerdy little guy is just packing and is ready to pop off.
Is that why? Because if a guy looks like a basement guy but also shoots guns, you assume he's on. That's fair.
I'm pro profiling in this respect.
You're like, he's definitely an incel.
I mean, you look at him, Jim, and you tell me that he's fucked at all.
I think Toby Jones has fucked.
No, I mean the character.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, man.
No, this podcast has a firm stance that Toby Jones fucks.
Yes. Big dick Toby Jones.
This movie really fucked me up.
You have not said much about it.
I'm a little surprised.
I think I'm cheered to hear you describe it as a bad movie. I think I may have maybe it was that I was watching it really late at night. Maybe it was that I've just completely left myself open because I did not realize what the film was about.
Yeah, sure.
I was expecting a more first of all, I wasn't expecting tentacles to come out boom, right away.
Agreed.
And for there to definitely be something in the mist. I thought the whole movie they were going to be is there or isn't there something in the mist?
That was my initial.
In keeping with Jim's very salient thesis about Stephen King movies, there is no subterfuge. It is exactly what that is immediately. All the time.
A dude runs in yelling at the beginning of the movie, "There's something in the mist, it grabbed a guy. We should have all known there was something in the mist, it's going to grab some guys."
But I think maybe because it was late and I hadn't prepared myself, that first one got me. I was surprised. Mm-hmm. And I never really came back from it. Maybe if I look at this in the cold light of day another time, and I'm able to somehow distance myself from the fact that it's about a father with a son in a horrifying situation, which just colored every single moment of the film for me.
Even though Tom Jane expends more energy getting away from his son 100% of the time than doing anything else, it still worked on you? He was aggressively I don't want to deal with this child. They show up at the grocery store and he gives it to Andre Braugher, and then he meets a blonde lady who's nice, and he's like, "You take care of this thing, please, as long as you can." And then every time he goes anywhere, he's like, "Someone else, I don't want to see this kid."
That's one way to read it, but No, he's running around, he's trying to solve the situation, he's doing what you would have to do in that situation, which is you can't just sit with your kid. Even though that is what you want to do,
he shovels
you have
the kid
to
off
go
on
and
other
see what you
people
can
long
do.
before there is an issue.
Well, the Andre Braugher thing's a funny bit.
Yeah, but even
he's
after that...
He's needling Andre Braugher.
He does give the kid
wants to be
the blonde woman to the older woman to the middle-aged
Even
woman.
when they're sleeping, Jason, there are periods where they are sleeping and you would want to be near your child, and he's letting the kid sleep next to the blonde lady. There's a period near the end where they're running out to the Range Rover, and Tom Jane is running 30 feet in front of everyone else, not protecting his child even a little bit. If he cared about that kid, he would be carrying the kid or standing next to the kid, but instead, poor blonde lady is left to protect his child while he barges out to his four-wheel drive.
Look, I mean, none of this is incorrect, and I don't have any interest in defending this movie. Fuck this movie.
I don't know, it seems like you're
death.
the one who's defending it.
But I have to
Seems
be
like you're the
honest
big
that while I was
fan.
watching it, it just bugged me out. And again, it must be because if the movie is what you're describing,
It is.
It must be another situation. It must be another Cujo, where just the fact of this kid being there, the fact of it being a father who, at least in some scenes, performs love, for his child. Picking him up and talking to him, and the child being scared, and Thomas Jane being constantly worried about everything that's going on. But like every time there were monsters, I was bugging out. Every time monsters were killing people, I was like, I don't like it. Like the skull-faced spiders scared the crap out of me, and the bugs popping out of people's bodies, and the pteranodon and the bugs stinging people so that they swell up and die, and crab monsters grabbing people out of the mist, and like every single thing I couldn't stop. And I was wondering, I was sitting there being like, why am I reacting this way? It's movie monsters, and I'm having like genuine gut level visceral reactions to every single time there is a threat. And it didn't. What I realized what happened is when it hadn't ended by the time I woke up this morning.
Yeah.
Like I was still just thinking about all of the monsters from the film. It felt like I was 4 years old and had accidentally seen something too scary on television.
Wow.
And then was thinking about it for days because I couldn't process it.
That's an amazing thing to have
Bug-faced
as an
spiders
adult.
have been haunting me all day.
I'm sorry,
And it's not fun.
but I'm also a little jealous.
Audience at home, Jason's drawn some great artwork to accompany this, and I can tell you for sure, these monsters have fucked him up pretty good. So, this is great radio, but Jim
Oh
can
yeah, it's got a bunch of little doodles of monsters.
I mean, Jason, you needed to have the experience that I did of this movie of just imagine, like, for instance...
Of seeing it childless.
seeing it childless,
Yeah.
for one.
You should watch it again
but
in 8
maybe
years, Chase.
Yeah.
Jim, what do you know?
What?
Am I going to be childless in 8
Oh,
years?
no, but he'll be an
Jesus.
adult then. I mean, he will have legally sued to not have to deal with you anymore, is what I'm saying. He will.
True.
He'll-
He's going to Andre Brower me.
Yeah, he'll just walk out in the middle of the day one time. Go start his own movie.
Me,
Go star in Brooklyn
When he-
Nine-Nine without you.
when to change the subject and protect my friend, when he
Yeah,
gives...
his friend, Jim.
Yeah.
His friend. Wait, you're the one who didn't warn me. God damn it, I have no friends.
For the record, I didn't know that my picking it was like... I thought that you had watched it already.
No, I haven't watched most of these.
Okay.
Yeah, but look,
been
there was no
running
way we were not
blind.
going to do The Mist. There was no way we were not going to do The Mist.
We could
because
have.
it
We
is
could have
one
just
of the-
respelled it the MISSED and done a whole episode
And
on
The
how
Mist,
not
yeah.
watching anything.
But it is worth pointing out that it is one of the most critically lauded Stephen King
it is.
That
adaptations ever
doesn't
made.
make any sense.
I mean, of 2007, it was called one of the best films of... I forget by whom, but one of the best films of 2007. Which
Wait, was it
not
Tom
true.
Jane? Did Tom Jane say that? Was he like, if you're going to watch any movie
considered-
starring me this year, maybe this one?
Like Darabont is considered the gold sting of
The goldenest thing.
the gold sting of Handard Banders, the gold standard of King adaptations, of adapters.
What else has he
I
done?
can't speak anymore. He is considered the gold standard of King adapters. He did Shawshank, and he did The Green
okay.
Mile, and
Okay.
then he
Both
did
of
The
those.
Mist.
Okay, this is the only one I've seen now, and this one is terrible, so everyone is wrong. Take it from me, a man who has watched too many Stephen King movies in a very short period of time.
Well, they are wrong. They are wrong about both of those. I will say, Jim, The Mist is the best one of the three of them.
Oh, is that true?
What? Take that for whatever that means.
That means I will continue to not watch the other two.
Yeah, you absolutely do not have to. They both suck. But you need to see, like, I will say, if you see this movie twice, like I have,
I will not.
It does not hit you the second time. It is pure.
It didn't hit me the first time.
Okay, well, it won't hit Jason the second time.
If he waits until his...
There will not be a second time.
God damn.
You should, Jason, someday,
Though I will
if
say,
you find
I
that
kind
you're
of-
not affected by child harm storylines again someday in the future, I would like you to rewatch this just so you can tell me that I'm right.
I will do that. I
Thank
also do have to admit that I kind of wanted to watch the black and white version.
Wait, there's a black and white
version?
Darabont's preferred version is in black and white, but they wouldn't let him release it that way or shoot it that way. I mean, he shot it on color film. But he...
The story would be better if he'd shot it black and white and the studio demanded that they colorize it like Ted Turner style.
Wait, did he want to do it in black and white to make the racial themes even more explicit?
Did he want to do it so his CGI monsters wouldn't look awful?
Yeah, and I will say honestly, for my money, the
tentacle
monsters
one is
that
fine.
are in the mist...
Yeah, things that are
fine.
very far away are fine.
And I was confused. I did have enough of my critical faculties around me to be wondering why he has this built-in tool to make CGI not the worst, which is everything's in the mist. But then during the siege on the supermarket, they just have everything fly inside into the bright lights. And it's like, okay, now they look terrible.
The ugliest.
I was still terrified of them the entire time, or rather, I was still just in the midst of episode the entire time, but they still look terrible.
Yes. Can I... so I want to give Frank Darabont credit for one decision that he made. I'm assuming that he made. Somebody made it, and he okayed it, probably. Which is that right after they push... There's a military guy that they all blame and stab and then push out into the mist. And right after they do it, the camera does a really slow pan across 85 people's faces, and they all turn away from the dead man to look towards Marcia Gay Harden. And as soon as it gets to Marcia Gay Harden, she says, I think, something, and then there's a fade out, but it's a light gag. They fade out all the lights in the store to black, and it's primo. It's the one good choice.
So I'm at 6s and 7s. I'm lost in the woods because I went to bed thinking that I was going to have to talk about this movie being good because it was so effective on me.
You can still talk about that. Talk about it, Jason.
Well, but I don't. Well, I have
tell me how it affected you.
But I
Jason,
don't.
relive how it made you feel out loud to me.
Yeah, Jim hasn't been listening for the first part of the episode.
Jim hasn't been listening for
about 15 days.
Yeah. No, I was just worried that I was going to have to. So here's where my thought process was. I was furious at the film. I was furious that I had watched it. And
I'm glad I picked it.
Incredibly upset.
Well done, Frankie. Well done.
I went to bed and stayed awake for an hour holding my son before I could get to sleep. But then in the morning I was thinking, well, I hate this movie. I hate it from the bottom of my heart. But that is because I had a very visceral emotional reaction to it, and I was wondering if I wasn't so keyed up on this one particular issue, would I be looking at the ending and thinking that's actually a really daring ending for a Hollywood film to go that dark, that hard, to really take a film that positing that all of the monsters and all of the scares and tension setups really worked on me, at least in this viewing. If I can say that about a film, that I got really tense during all the times I was supposed to get tense, and that it really took me to a bleak, dark place at the end, that's fairly impressive.
Yeah. It sounds like you watched a good movie, Jace.
That I hated.
Yeah. Sometimes we hate the movies the most that work the best on us.
That said, I do think that it's bullshit, and that it isn't actually a good movie, and that I was artificially keyed up. Because you know as soon as they run out of gas what is going to happen. You know that they're going to kill everybody, and then you know that they're going to...
They decide to shoot everyone in the face literally seconds after running out of gas. It takes them less than 15 seconds to decide that they all need to die.
But you also knew, or at least I knew, and I was hoping the movie wouldn't do this only because I knew it would make me so angry, that they're going to pull a super shitty, dark joke and just have the fog, the mist.
And I appreciate the concept of that ending, and I think in a different movie where it is earned or done well, it could be a good ending.
Yeah, because that's the other thing, is that, as you're saying, and this is what I wanted to say, but I was afraid that I was just being defensive and trying to find ways to tear the film down, so I didn't have to admit that it affected me. But none of them are human beings.
No.
They're all of these cartoon caricatures that are acted with the, what you call codes of serious acting for the most part,
but with nothing behind them.
Not actual substantive people at all.
None of them is at all a character.
I completely agree with you about Marcia Gay Harden being the only one who's really matching the tone of the film.
Yes.
But it's not the tone of the film as Frank Darabont understands it. Frank Darabont thinks he's making something very deep and poignant and about people and about the way that humanity is. And that he's really saying something, man, and all he's saying is "fuck you."
See, but I don't think you need fleshed out characters or real people to be making a comment about society.
No, but you need characters to enjoy a movie or identify with them or have any feelings at all. I do, at least. I don't know.
Well, you could also have a fully alienated experience.
Sure.
If you have somebody like Marcia Gay Harden. If everybody's performing on that level, then you're going to be processing it as this heightened, performative commentary.
She is operating as a symbolic being.
But instead, everybody's trying to make you connect on a human level.
Yeah, it's like Darabont gave them this script that's made of caricatures and was like, I need you to act the hell out of this. And they were like, okay, I trust you because you're the director and that's your job. But it turns out, maybe not great at that job. I feel like a giant spider with a dumb skull head is a great monster in a movie that it understands, in the movie that Marcia Gay Harden's in, right? In a movie where your monster is a giant spider with a skull head that spits acid webbing, and you aren't trying to have people act with such gravity as, you know what I mean? In a movie where you're accepting that. If you were making The Thing and that was a monster, great. I love it. That's a great monster. In this movie, it was so idiotic.
I still can't think of that spider without getting sick to my stomach.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a galvanized fight or flight response every time I think of that goddamn spider.
I will say, with the exception of the pterodon thing, which looked like absolute shit.
Yes,
I thought the CGI part of it aside, I liked the designs of the monsters.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like the designs. I don't think they fit in this movie, but I like them.
With Marcia Gay Harden's performance, that to me is just another very much Bush era type character of the very quaint idea of, religious psychos are the worst thing that you can have happen, and they'll galvanize you and whatever. It's
also a very Stephen King idea.
For sure.
But both of religious psychos and also just of sort of galvanizing the fascistic leaders. You have Dead Zone, you have The Stand, etc.
But I mean, I guess to me that's why I don't maybe read her performance as high of a level as you guys do. She reads to me as very clearly a cartoonish character without a real psychology. Oh
no, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But I think she is playing it as that, and I think the other people are written as that and are trying to play them as though there is more to them than that.
Okay.
I feel like Marcia Gay Harden felt like the actor who understood what movie she was in, and everyone else felt like they were trying to act against the script.
I see.
Like Piper Laurie and Carrie.
Yeah, like Piper Laurie and Carrie.
Just to bring us full circle.
Yeah. And I would say to Frank Darabont, they're all gonna laugh at you.
All right. We should probably fade away into the mist soon. I'm sorry, Frankie, that you just guessed it on an episode where I was just
mad at me the whole time. I want to say, for the record, I bought Gus a present, so I'm not a bad person.
Is it a stuffed skullface spider?
No, but
he would love that.
He would, but you would hate it.
Yeah.
He would love that. We did. I took him on a walk today, and we had to stop at a house that had 7 skulls in front of the house so that he could say hi to each skull.
That's correct.
So he would have a better time watching the movie than you would, I think.
Yeah, you should watch this one with him. You should have watched it with him. There's nothing super grimy in it.
This is me just... I think we're well aware at this point what's happening in my brain.
Oh yeah.
And it's just that's what it is.
Yeah.
I can't even make a good joke about it.
Jim seems to be doing that for you.
I'm just being mean. I'm sorry. I don't have a good joke. I just have.
No, I'm glad we had another person here though, because I'm completely non-functioning for this, our final film that is supposed to be.
Thank you for being my co-host this episode.
It was a pleasure, Jim. I've been waiting for it for like 30 episodes, or however the fuck long this has been.
This is 30. That's too bad.
This is 30.
Well done.
Hell to the King is a special presentation of the Cinesthesia podcast, produced by Iguana Donald Studios, and distributed by Split Tooth Media. Music by Loyalty Freak. Hell to the King is so tired. So tired.